fine. No problem. So we just saw Rogue One.
Yay!
Yay! What did you guys think?
I have mixed feelings about it.
Oh,
I have mixed feelings because it's kind of like, if we know what the ending is, it kind of kills the suspense of it, and there was no new information brought forward, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
I don't think that, like I told you, I was really upset about the characters not, two of the main characters not spawning Rey, because I felt like that would have brought some more insight, at least more backstory as to the current plot, anything that would have brought us more information, but instead it just gave us, it started somewhere that we were like, okay, sure, I guess that happened, and it ended somewhere where we're like, yeah, we knew that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was a fun ride. I guess now that I hear your point, it makes a lot of sense, but I kind of liked the, at least telling of the story. And there was enough suspense in terms of how they were going to get where they were going that seemed exciting enough at the time, but I'm also sort of a generally easy-to-please moviegoer, at least while I'm sitting in the seat. Afterwards, when we talk about it, it's a little different. But when I'm sitting there, my immediate thoughts are, oh, that was fun.
Yeah, I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. Honestly, I think I love this almost as much as the original trilogy. I fucking love this film. It was amazing. I thought it was great.
Big statement.
Yeah.
From Alex? Yeah, definitely.
Although, full disclosure, I did have a glass of wine before I went into the theater. So that may or may not have influenced
helped a little.
my opinion of it. But just a quick rundown. I'm Alex.
I'm Tina.
Rachel.
So we are going to be spoilers from here on out. We just gave you our general opinion. I think all of us would go see it, right? Would you say go see it?
Definitely still go see it. I mean, like Rachel was saying, the storytelling is great, and the characters are unique, and just everything that we love from the Star Wars series. So I definitely would say go see it.
Go see it, yeah. Full price, whatever. If you can find it in 3D, I'm sure 3D is good for it too. We saw it in 2D, but I'm sure the 3D is good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So from here on out, spoilers. So let's start with a brief summary of the movie.
So we have...
This takes place... Okay, alright, so one of the reasons I love this was it takes place based on one line of dialogue in the original trilogy. Where, remember, they get the Death Star plans, and the white-robed senator who makes she reappears in this one. She's sitting there talking to everybody, and she's like, yes, we have these Death Star plans that we, went through great lengths to obtain, and many people died getting these plans for us. And there's like this solemn moment of silence, and then she's like, so we must prevail in destroying this Death Star because we really, really tried hard to get these, like lots of people died getting these plans. Mm-hmm. That one line of dialogue pretty much is the tagline for this entire movie. This is the story of them getting those plans.
Yeah.
Like, it is the prequel movie we should have had. It does mention, like, Clone Wars and everything, but in spirit, it is much closer to that original trilogy because it is minutes from the start of the first movie. You see Leia Organa in her shuttle trying to escape that battle, and you know Darth Vader is coming after her, and she's got the plans to the Death Star, and you know she's going to put him in R2-D2 and send him to Tatooine. That is the beginning of that story. I mean, it feeds right into the start. I loved it. So many callbacks to the original series. I thought it was great. You see 3PO and R2-D2 briefly, but the cameos aren't obnoxious. Like, they don't linger obnoxiously on R2-D2. They're actually kind of like they're down frame right.
Yeah, lots of actions happening.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on in the background, and C-3PO pretty much goes, they never tell me anything. There were so many great little throwbacks. There's another droid named K who has a line that C-3PO has where he's like, I don't have a good feeling, and they'll go, shut up. You know, and that goes back to C-3PO when they're baking into the moon on Endor. He's, I don't have a very good feeling about this. You know, so lots of little callbacks to things like that. And they explain one of the biggest plot holes of the entire series, why does the Death Star have a fatal weakness that if you hit it, it blows up?
Yeah.
Oh,
And in this one, they say, it was put there. So that is
feel
not
like
a summary so much.
That was them kind of doing this on their track.
but I love
But
that.
yeah, no, it did add like some depth to it. Like it almost made it seem like they purposefully put it there.
Right.
But I was watching a spoof video that someone else had put out where they were saying, like, it was like the architect from the Death Star, and he was like, okay, so everyone's mad at me, but I made a shaft that was about 10 foot wide, and you had to curve something. He's like, so I had to anticipate that Jedis that were going extinct would have fired a missile in to be able to curve it with his Jedi mind powers and go down this long shaft to the middle of the most guarded point, and he was like, you've got to be kidding me. He's like, I really tried hard. He was like, do you know how hard it is to make a giant Death Star with one air vent? And so I thought that was kind of funny too, that it was a spoof video that was put out, but I was like, that also could have been a good answer, you know?
Yeah.
Very hard to do just one air vent, otherwise you would have had multiple access points to the Death Star.
Right.
But, I mean...
Right. So exactly. This kind of explains that. The summary proper, though, is that it starts out with Mad Mikkelsen. I'm never going to remember his name. What is the actual character's name?
Or the scientist.
Yeah,
Orso or something?
Galen Orso or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So Mads Mikkelsen, because that's just what I'm going to call it. It's Mads Mikkelsen. Oh, I love him. So he plays this scientist who is hiding out as like an algae farmer, I don't know, some kind of farmer, on like a remote planet, and it's him and his wife, who is also a scientist. And
but he had already left. He was
was an Imperial scientist, and he defected and ran away and hid. And he has a wife who is also an Imperial scientist who went with them, and they have a daughter while they're on this planet. And the Empire tracks them down because he is very valuable, and he's the only one who can figure out how to put this Death Star thing together. So he intends to take the wife and child as hostage. Doesn't work out. The wife bites back. He shoots her. The little girl named Jin runs away and hides.
But they knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah, they'd anticipated this, and he had a friend who was an ex-military commander of some sort.
He was an extremist. That's what they said.
He was an extremist later. He became an extremist. But he was part of the alliance.
What was his name?
Very difficult. I know it started with an S sound, but
I almost had it at some point.
Sounds like Zgaro, but not.
It's like something Auraran.
Yeah.
All Star Wars names are a little. Yes, Caesarean section. Yeah. All Star Wars names sound a little. What the fuck
they really threw you into the names right off the bat, and I was like, okay, slow down, someone.
Can somebody be named Tom?
Bob. I just want like a little. Like at after they say a new name, like a little blip comes down, and it's like, this is what that person's name is, in case you didn't. And then like a little blip, like general, like
a little subtitle.
Yes. Subtitle.
Yes.
See who they are. They have to wear name tags.
Name tags would be great. I would love that.
They do that for the planets a little bit.
Yes, they do.
They should do that for character names.
At first I thought they said Edo, like the ancient capital of Japan, for one of the planets, and then they said Edo, and I was like, oh, with like an I, and then it's spelled E-A-D-U.
Yeah, Edo.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes some sense. Anyway, so Jin hides, and the Alliance commander comes, and he rescues her, and he kind of like adopts her.
Yeah, he raises her for
something goes wrong. Because
and then he leaves her.
Yeah, our next shot is her in the prison.
Right.
Yeah, she's in a labor camp. There are labor camps in Star Wars. So they did a good job of expanding the universe too.
I almost for a second wanted to disbelieve that it was still like that was the same person. And I don't really know what part of me wanted to do that, but like, and then when she was holding, like her mom gave her a necklace when she was running away. And she
like
told
her to go
necklace. Kyber crystal.
Kyber crystal, and she said.
Which is what fuels the Death Star, by the way.
And lightsabers.
And lightsabers.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the dilithium crystal of Star Trek. It just does everything.
Yep.
But she said, what did she say? Remember the Force, or like
the
trust
in the Force. Yeah.
Yes. And then so when she put this around her neck, and you kind of have this feeling that maybe that they're some sort of Jedi connection. Yeah, some sort of Jedi connection. But then that's not really explored, and that really frustrated me.
Yeah, there's only one kind of like, other than, okay, like I said, spoilers, Darth Vader's in this. Other than Darth Vader, there's really only one pseudo-Jedi in the group, and that's the Temple Guard, Jiro. But yeah, we're getting ahead of
Leia.
Oh, well, yeah, but Leia's not a Jedi. She's just strong with the Force.
Yes, but the senator, she was like, are you going to get that Jedi? And then he was like, yeah, but I know one that'll help. And he was like, do you, like, trust her or something like that? And he's like, I trust her, like, do you trust them? And he turned around and he says, I trust her with my life.
Yeah.
And so that really threw me off because at first I
It's a female Jedi.
yes.
Yeah.
So there, I think that might set up, we have to know how Rey is, that really is
Who
bothering
are Rey's
me.
parents? Yeah, Tina wants
It's
to know
really
who Rey's
bothering
parents
me
are.
because that's like a large
Yeah.
gap, and she's a main character in the continuation.
I don't think this was supposed to be linked very closely with that one, because that's much later in the story. That's like 20 years on.
Right.
Yeah, but she's like 20 years old.
Yeah, but I actually kind of like that this is anthology style. This is like, it still takes place in that universe, and it's still like a prequel, almost a direct, like minutes before prequel of, I guess, A New Hope, which they play on that a lot with, oh, what's this plan? It's hope, you know.
Right.
Yeah, hope is what. Hope is what rebellions are made from.
It's like
but I kind of like that it was an anthology kind of style where we can jump around in the universe and it doesn't have to be exactly chronological. Although this was chronological. We were doing the summary. I think we got off topic. That'll probably happen a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, wakes up in a labor camp, gets rescued by the Alliance. The Alliance is like, oh, you're the daughter of this scientist dude, and we need you to also go talk to that commander guy who in the meantime has gone extremist terrorist style of blow them all up. And the Alliance has kind of like parted ways with him, and they're like, we need you to get in touch with him because you're his adopted daughter, and you're also the real daughter of this scientist guy who invented the Death Star. So kind of multiple branches there, and they're kind of like, yeah, we'll set you free. Her motivation for why she's doing it is not very
at
clear.
the beginning when he even asks her like, what is your motivation? And she's like, well, like, whatever, like, they asked me to do it, and now the connection is made, like, you guys can now talk, I'm done, I'm out of this. And they're like, why did you do it? Was this just like a fun thing for you to do?
Well, I guess they rescued her from the labor camp, and they were threatening to send her back, but I don't honestly know how they would pull
but like,
that off.
it really didn't feel like that.
I think her motivation for joining was probably the chance that she might get to see her father again, because that's who they were looking for.
Right.
And this commander guy was the only guy who knew where.
Yeah.
Like,
So the
her
reason
dad
the
would be.
commander knows where the dad will be is because a pilot, whose name I did not catch, pilot from the Imperial.
The deserter pilot.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
he's
the
a deserter.
Yeah,
he's in it
said
from
his
the.
name maybe like one or two
He's from the Empire, but he defects, and he is sent by the scientist Oso. So Oso is their last name. So Oso sends this pilot to crazy extremist general, and
With a
the
message.
Alliance,
with
the
a
Alliance
hologram.
hears about it, and they send Jin there to get the message from the pilot who's in the custody of the extremist guy.
Right.
They do that. In the meantime, the Death Star shows up and blows up a city that they happen to be nearby, and they kind of only barely escape by the skin of their teeth.
It was funny to me
and
that
they
they
pick
kept
up-
missing when the Death Star.
Yeah. Well, and it maybe gives you an explanation. Okay, that maybe gives you an explanation for like why Stormtrooper aim is so bad is because there's this thing that so they pick up these palace guards while they're in the city, trying to find extremist commander guy, and these temple guards. They're temple guards from an ancient defunct Jedi temple that's been taken over by the Empire. And this is where we meet our pseudo Jedi Jiro and his best buddy, whose name I didn't catch. So they, Jiro's the closest we get to, like, an actual good Jedi. Like, he's strong with the Force, but he doesn't ever use a lightsaber, and you don't ever see him actually, like, you know, use any Force crush powers. He doesn't toss anybody. He has this mantra, this chant that he keeps up, like, I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
And he knows when one of the crystals is nearby.
Yeah, he's blind, but he's got he's got, like, daredevil senses, you know, he can hear things, and he's really good with the Force, so, like, you see him walk through a battlefield, and bullets just don't even hit him. And that's a good, like, maybe an explanation for why Stormtrooper aim sucks. Is maybe these are all people who are really strong with the Force and are actually, like, subtly bending these bullets away from themselves. So another possible explanation for why Stormtrooper aim sucks. Anyways, they pick up these, so the city blows up. The handsome Alliance
pilot,
slash commander. What is his name?
I don't know what his name is.
Do we remember handsome,
Mr. I carry my prison around with me.
Pilot.
That was like a Eastern
assassin.
European accent.
Was it? I thought he was Hispanic.
Oh, I thought it was Hispanic too.
I thought for sure he
Really?
was Hispanic.
Okay.
We have
I
no
thought
idea
the-
who is in
the
this
deserter
film.
pilot
Apparently.
He was like Middle Eastern.
Yeah, he was
Right,
Middle
right.
Eastern.
Yeah.
No, I said Eastern European.
Eastern European? I definitely thought it was Hispanic.
I could be wrong.
Does anyone
Don't
have
worry
their
about
phone? We can look up IMDb.
Check
Check out people's. Okay, so while she's over there, we'll give you more of the rundown. So, Jin, handsome pilot, or handsome assassin alliance guy, the actual pilot, the Imperial defector pilot, the Jiro, the pseudo Temple Guard Jedi, Jiro's buddy, the other Temple Guard Jedi
Who's
with
really
the huge gun.
really good with his gun.
Yeah.
Like Jiro walks out one time and his buddy's like, "Good luck," and he's like, "I don't need luck, I got you," because he always
follows
has his
after
back. Yeah.
Yeah. They did a really good job of establishing the connection between these characters in a really short amount of time.
Yeah, they really did a good job.
Yeah, you're like, these two are brothers to the end. You're totally with it. And so yeah, they all get on this ship, and K-250, I think, the android, the sassy bot.
Oh, what's
Sassy
it?
bot. Yeah,
he is sassy bot. He
Was it
throws so much
K2R8?
shade. Yeah, K2R8.
I loved him.
Yeah, he was so. Oh my god, he's throwing shade left and right. He was hilarious.
I don't know what it is. Every time I watch the movie, I come out and I'm like, okay, like R2's my favorite, and then I'm like, okay, C-3PO, you're cool, but like
whiny.
Yeah,
whiny.
C-3PO, like okay, but R2's really my boy. And then BB-8, I was like in love with, and then like, I don't know, I just like because they're so like.
See, this guy contributed though. He's
Incredible,
part of the
though.
team. He gives opinions, and he helps out, and he doesn't just make cute beep beep noises and you go, thanks for selling me the plushie of this, okay.
Yeah.
Which is how I felt with BB-8. I didn't like BB-8 because
But
I felt like he was such a marketing ploy.
No, yeah, they're meant for you to fall in love with.
Yeah, but K2R8 I think was the way to do it right for me.
He
Because
was
I
awesome.
I don't like cutesy.
He was catered perfectly for you.
Yeah, I like sarcasm. I love me some sarcasm, and this was the most sarcastic bot I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even sassier than R2.
So Star Wars succeeded.
Yes, they
sold
got me.
Alex.
They got
a
me.
They
character.
really did. And he was one of my favorite.
So yeah, they all
I
fly
see.
away.
So by the way,
Oh,
really
yes.
quickly,
Actors'
so
names.
last name of the main family is Urso, like ERSO, Urso.
Oh, I thought it was Oso.
Our handsome pilot assassin guy is Cassian Andor.
Cassian. Okay.
And then the bot is K2SO.
K2SO. We're close. We're so close. We're like a hair's breadth off all these names.
The blind Jedi guy is Chirrut, like
Chirrut?
CHIRRUT.
They definitely say Jiro.
I'm pretty sure they say Jiro.
We need to start a petition for name
Imwe?
tags next time. This is getting ridiculous.
It must the little white text that appears right across the bottom of the screen
Right.
that says this
What
is
their name is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the blind Jedi guy's buddy, who's always got his back, who's kind of awesomely badass, is
Brother-in-law.
Baze Malbus.
Baze Malbus.
I don't even think they said that one
No,
time.
I'm pretty sure they never say his name.
Oh.
What is the pilot's name?
Um,
I think it
the
begins with a
pilot
B.
is Bodhi.
Bodhi.
Rook. Bodhi Rook.
Bodhi. Okay.
Commander guy is Saw Gerrera. Is that what they were saying?
Saw Gerrera.
Which commander guy?
The
Extremist.
Extremist commander guy, pseudo father
Is
Saw Gerrera. No,
I
that is definitely not what I heard.
I definitely heard So Gerrera.
because they were
so,
saying it like one word.
Sicaria.
It's Saw Gerrera.
Sacagawea.
Yeah, I said it could have been. Why not?
I mean, why the hell not? I don't know who Krennic. Krennic is the bad guy who's ambitious and he's the
Oh,
commander
yeah, a
in the
big bad.
Imperial
The one who comes
side.
to get the scientist and kills
Right,
his
right,
wife
right,
and
right.
chases his daughter off.
Yep, Galen Erso.
Galen.
I think that's all of our more important people.
Our big people.
I think
Right.
that they maybe went, like, because, I mean, I'm thinking of, like, previous names that they've created for characters, and you do have, like, some, like, you know, like, longer names or, like, more difficult names. Like, that if there was, like, Jabba the Hutt thrown in, like, that might have been lost on us. But, like, you had, like, Luke, Leia, Han Solo.
Yeah.
Right.
You had, like, very basic
simple,
names.
close sounding to names that actually exist.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then here you just had everyone gets weird names.
Like, I've literally already forgotten that entire list. What was the
like-
handsome assassin's name? Cassian?
Cassian.
Cassian. Okay.
Cassian.
All right.
Like
So-
Prince Caspian.
Yeah, Prince
Cassian.
Caspian. And they even kind of like look
Thinking of the
similar-ish.
Something like
they
that.
do. They both got the wavy hair and the dark eyes.
Oh, yeah, he was
right?
handsome as hell.
Yeah. So they where were we? They go back to the Alliance base, all of
Right.
them, right? Oh no, they jump into hyperdrive to escape the Imperial fleet that comes after them.
They escaped the city that was being blown up by the Death
So
Star.
they escape
Right,
the city
right.
being blown up by jumping into hyperdrive, and in the meantime, they get in touch with the Alliance.
Yep.
And Alliance says, okay, first of all, you're gonna kill Daddy Urso, scientist
Galen
Daddy
Erso.
Urso, Galen Urso, when you see him. Like, and they don't tell Jyn this because Jyn is still with them, and obviously she would
Right.
not be cool with you
Yeah.
killing her dad. But they tell it to Cassian. And so Cassian's like, oh, okay. And they say go to Edo because
They
okay.
said go straight
Go
there.
to Edo. That's where
finish the mission.
That's where the scientist is. That's where this Imperial base is. And kill this dude because we just can't risk him finishing the Death Star. And so the entire little troop of them go to Edo, and they kind of like split off where Bodhi, the pilot, and Cassian.
Yeah.
Cassian, the hot assassin, break off, and Cassian's like, Bodhi's kind of guiding him, because remember, Bodhi's a defector. And
Yeah, he knows
Cassian's,
his way around.
yeah, and Cassian's like, okay, I gotta kill Daddy Urso.
Yep.
And Jyn eventually gets bored waiting for him, and is like, I'm gonna go find him myself.
Well, no, she figures out, Blind Jedi guy kind of hints at...
Hints that he's gonna go
he's
kill
gonna go
Dad,
kill Daddy-o,
right?
and
'cause
she's
yeah,
like,
'cause
oh, nope,
he
and
yeah,
goes up
does,
after him.
Does he have a
the
face
darkness
of a friend?
the Force is gathering around him.
Oh, I thought
'Cause
they were
he-
talking about...
Yeah, he's like something about like dark Force energy gathers around you when you're about to kill someone.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So he kind of tips her off,
Oh.
and Jyn takes off after him, and I'm just gonna call him Jiro. Jiro takes off after her, and then of course I've already forgotten his name, but
Blaze.
Blaze.
Uh-huh.
Blaze. Okay.
Blaze.
Blaze. Blaz.
Let me look it up again.
Just
Okay.
keep these on file.
You will just get something
Oh,
approximate.
Baze.
Baze. Like before anyone else.
Yeah.
So Baze.
B-A-Z.
Oh, like you were thinking like Bay.
I mean, Bay. Yeah.
Maybe that's where it came from.
Exactly.
Because this was a long, long time ago.
so Bay takes after Jiro, and so they're all kind of like so they all wind up on the platform at the same time.
Yep.
Enough time to see evil asshole for the Empire, whose name
Karen.
Karen.
Uh-huh.
Karen. Okay.
She's always a bitch, and she's always named Karen.
Karen. Not female,
Well-
but is named Karen apparently.
Sorry. Krennic.
Krennic.
I would have much preferred Karen. I don't. It just came out. Maybe we can talk to them, get that rewrite in.
Krennic.
That sounds
So-
way more.
So asshole Krennic, the commander, who's like in charge of the overseeing Death Star construction, confronts Daddy Urso and is like,
Galen!
Galen
It just
Erso.
sounds like you're saying like Daddy Warbucks. Daddy Warbucks, build me a Death Star.
You might as well.
Galen. Mads. I'm just gonna call him Mads. Mads Nicholson. He confronts Mads
Galen
Nicholson,
Erso.
the actor.
Galen Erso. Just Galen Erso.
Galen Erso. Okay, he confronts
You
Galen
can look
Erso.
at me. I will give you the name. Look at me for your cue.
Okay. He confronts Galen Erso and he's like, did you send a spy or defector to the Alliance?
Right. Mhm.
And then he's like, I'm going to kill all your engineers. And so Galen goes, oh yeah, I did, don't kill the engineers, and he's
And
like,
then
ha
kills
ha
them
ha, I
anyway.
killed them anyway.
I hated that.
And in the meantime, the Alliance is scrambling fighters to try and send backup in a misguided attempt to help, and they actually end up killing Galen with a bomb that they fire, and they also almost kill Jin.
Right.
Yeah, the Rebel
because
Alliance.
as
The
soon
air
as
support.
because Cassian is looking at all of this happening through his little binoculars after he doesn't have the guts to kill Galen Erso, and then he runs back to their ship and tries to tell the rebel forces, like, stop.
Don't do it. And they're like, oh my god, that was such a lame excuse. He's like, well, they're already engaged. And I was like, motherfucker, you can tell them to pull up.
Yeah, I was like, okay, is this not motherfucking Star Wars?
Yeah. Like, you can't get in touch with the fighters. You're like, oh, they've already started fighting. There's nothing I can do. They're already there. It's like,
What the heck?
It's like,
oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure you can call them and be like, actually, we've changed our mind. Come back.
Yeah,
Or
if you
don't
can-
fire on the platform. We've got people
If
there.
you have people like diving the shield towards the end, like, and you say pull up now, then you have time to be like, don't fire at these people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So they almost kill Jin. They definitely kill Galen. Urso, Daddy Urso.
Yep.
Leave me alone. So then, she gets pissed off with Cassian, and she's like, you were gonna kill my dad, and Cassian's like, I could have killed your dad, but I didn't. I had every opportunity to, but my conscience got the best of me, and I didn't kill your dad.
I thought that was a dumb excuse.
Yeah,
And she was just like, okay. And I'm like,
okay, yeah,
You
I'm
could have been
fine.
like,
She wasn't happy with it. He was all, I mean, he jumped all over her with the whole, like, oh, we all have to do things that we don't want to in war, blah, blah, blah. He goes off on this, like, rant.
I was following orders, and she's like, then you're no better than a stormtrooper, which I actually thought was a good line.
I thought that was a good line,
I like
yeah.
that line. So she does get to have her reunion with Dad, and he's
for
like,
all of 5 seconds.
yeah, 5 seconds. Papa.
Papa.
And he's like, yeah, you're my Stardust and something. I honestly don't remember what his dying words were. Oh, I have so much to tell you. That's what he says.
Yeah,
And then
that
he
was
dies.
sad.
That was really sad. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
You sound so sad.
I was genuinely moved. Anyways, she looks so much like Katniss Everdeen to me. She really does.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, with the
Okay,
hair and the get-up.
Little tiny
Yeah.
low bun.
Yeah, she's got the Katniss,
With the,
I
like,
thought the
bangs.
low bun,
Yeah.
the low bun was an interesting choice for hair. Like they've done such cool things
With
with
hair.
hair. And then you got like, oh, cool, that's what I wore on Wednesday. So
It's still a little like, okay. Well, it feels dirty and gritty and poor, which I thought they did a really good job of making.
also
Like
Red
everybody
was.
looks like they're just. Yeah, that's true.
and her hair was in a cool updo. So
Yeah, and then they go. Okay, so they Dad's dead, and they all pile back into the spaceship.
And they go back to the Rebel Alliance.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
They go back to the Rebel Alliance and.
And they, like, give their report on everything that happened. They let them know that we're bringing in a impounded Imperial ship.
Right. Oh,
And they
Jin
have the
has
council,
yes,
right?
they have the council, and yeah, a lot of actors you'd recognize from just about everywhere are on the council. And anyways, they all are arguing. Nobody can make up their mind. Jin is like, we need to strike now. My dad died to give us these plans, and there's this fatal weakness he built into the Death Star. We need to go right, like, ASAP. And everybody's like, that's a suicide mission. Nobody's gonna be down for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dissent. And anyways, Cassian later comes up to Jin, and he's like, okay, so I've got, like, 20 volunteers with me, and we're all just gonna sneak off and attack the base and try and get these plans. And so that's what they do. They steal the Imperial ship again
To get
and,
access into the
on their way
security
out.
base.
Times the title, like the Alliance guy goes,
Right.
you're not authorized for clearance. What is your call sign? And Bodhi goes, we're Rogue One, and then he takes off, and they're
I
on
thought
their way.
that was good. When she was like, say anything, and then
Yeah.
he was like, we're Rogue, and she's like, and then he's like,
Not that motherfucker.
we're Rogue One. Like, okay, now we're a fleet. So.
Yeah. So they take off towards, where's that place? Garo? What is the, okay.
I'm gonna look
We
it
don't
up.
Cicero. Sicily. It begins with an S. It is pretty much the only tropical location I think I've ever seen in a
Yes.
Star Wars film.
I remember that because I really
Palm
had to go to the
trees and
bathroom at
crystal
that point,
beaches.
and then I was like, of course they had to go to a water planet. I
Yeah.
have to leave now.
I can't remember a palm tree planet before. Like,
Well, I remember those the like anthropomorphic kind of machine things that
the AT-ATs?
AT-ATs. Yes.
Yeah.
I
There are AT-ATs in this.
I thought
They're
like
what?
AT-ATs. The
what we're saying making noises like they actually make noises.
the giant spindly robots.
Okay.
Okay. With people inside. The
Yes.
ones- Yes. That fire.
The
The poorly.
Because I'm pretty sure they were
You
like
could tell.
kaboof, kaboof, like
Yeah. That
yeah,
is,
literally you could just be
our onomatopoeia.
but instead
um,
sounded like 6 times derpier than they needed to be.
They're a little derpy though. They're not exactly
They are so
practical.
derpy. They came out and I was like, oh, these things again. Like we know, just tie their legs up and they fall over.
Yeah. We established that in the first set of movies.
Right.
Like you can pretty much trip these things and they're done.
I'm like, it's just, I feel like,
It makes you wonder why people run away from them instead of running underneath them.
Right.
oh,
It
they
seems
had
like
the
that
thing,
would be
they
a
had the thing
fatal
underneath.
design flaw. Oh, they do that.
Yeah, I remember something that
Oh.
pops out from underneath and rotates and shoots.
Right. Oh,
But
okay.
it almost feels like Jurassic Park in some sort of way where it's like just because you can does not mean you should. With so many of these weird things that they made.
Yeah.
And like the designs of some of their like there was
But
one that
ads are classic.
there was
You
one
gotta
on
love
2
the
legs
ads.
and I was like, okay, that could not have made it easier. I just don't
I
like either
mean-
you're up in the air or you're down on the ground. Choose one.
Yeah.
You can't be like awkward long
Like,
legs.
Clearly, if you can keep an entire destroyer-class ship hovering serenely in the sky, you can probably have like a normal hovercraft. Like
Yes!
firing.
Right, yeah.
They had that giant shoot, it was like was it Star Destroyer or something like that?
Yeah, they
A ship just
Giant
hovering.
ship. Yeah, just hovering over
Hovering,
this
and
little
I was like, okay.
the temple, hovering over the temple, just hanging out there, like not even fucking causing a breeze. So it's
Yes.
using some kind of hover technology. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I completely forgot where we were in our. So yeah, they're on
They
the
land on the island.
They sneak onto the
island
island.
type.
Island
planet.
planet.
It's
with all
it's
the,
like skit.
it's like a planet of Caribbeans. It's just.
I don't
Did you get
remember. I can't seem to get signal
Oh,
here,
no
but
signal.
but basically it's the Empire's like security information's like
info
unit.
database.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's got a lot of archived info
Mhm.
and a giant satellite dish on top of a tower surrounded by a giant force field that goes all the way around the planet.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that they have all this technology, but they still use the
Yes.
satellite.
yeah.
Loved
Oh yeah,
it.
the giant,
Satellite dish?
the biggest satellite dish you've ever seen. But to be fair, we still use satellites for like all of our long range communication.
Yeah, I know. but
They
like,
have to have some
we don't
kind
have
of
lightsabers. So
yeah.
like,
Well, they have to have some kind of faster than light communication, or otherwise you'd send something and like 7 years later, the person on the next planet over would get the message. You know,
Yeah. But I
they
guess-
have to have some kind of faster than light communication.
They were saying like, oh, it's because the size of the data files that they're sending. But then I was like,
technobabble.
yes, but also like, what large data files are they just sending
The
around?
blueprints for the
Why do they need to send those? That seems like a hazard in the first place.
yeah
Just
yeah.
walk them around, old style. Like,
yeah hard copy only
Yeah.
something like that yeah.
Well, maybe they're too complicated to have as like a paper copy. You'd have to have like
Well, she had that
Oh, the giant, like,
USB
thing.
It looks
Yeah.
like an old-fashioned like floppy
Film?
hard drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
and then she like put it on her waist, and it looked like 2 like CDs.
Yeah, it looks
It
like one of
did.
those like
Like an
yeah, if you've
external
ever
hard
seen-
drive.
Yeah, or like you know those external floppy readers that they had back in the day.
Yeah.
Something
looks
like
like
that.
that.
You go and like
It really
go
does.
into school and you put it in, and then you
Yeah.
upload your paper onto it. And
So that's got the entire Death Star plan on it. Anyways, they break into this thing, like
They break into the
break
security
into the giant tower.
Right.
Oh, that took a lot of work though. Wasn't It just like,
yeah.
at
We
first
say it
they
easily,
land
but
there.
Excuse me.
Then
This is
some
this
people.
is the entire last third of the film is them breaking into this tower.
Yes,
Right.
people like they land on the thing, and and it took a while for them to get clearance to like go in through the shield. They come in through the shield, they land, and someone comes and inspects the thing.
Yeah,
and they take down the people
They
who...
take down
they
those
sneak
folks
in
so
and-
that they can take their uniforms. All classic good stuff.
They had all their 20 volunteers create a distraction, like
Yeah,
blow
they
up different
blow up
parts of the
stuff.
Yeah,
island.
that was cool. And
You
then when he
know.
was on the radio, the defector pilot stayed in the plane.
keeping the engine running.
Yeah, keeping the
Yeah.
engine running, and then communicating with the Imperial forces because he knows
Right.
like their language. And so he was like, "I'm on pad 5, and we're being like
We're surrounded.
We're
We're pinned
surrounded."
down.
And they like
Like,
he's
yeah,
like,
he's
and then he
sending out
handed it to his
diversions.
friend, and he's like,
Tell them
so
pad
you're on
2.
pad 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you're
yeah.
on pad 2. Like, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, they had just like a
Confused all the-
lot of things going on at one time. At
I
that.
thought the action was done very well, though, and the
Yeah.
effects were really good, and you're just really in it. And in the meantime, Jin and Cassian and Kay, the robot, are all sneaking into the tower.
Right.
And they actually find what they're looking for amazingly. And she figures out that her dad named the Death Star
Project,
plans, or Project Stardust. And so they find the Stardust file. And it's in a giant kind of like a server or stack of files, like that's literally like 100 stories high or something. And there's a electronic robotic system, the robotic arm that goes and pulls the file out. Anyway,
Which I loved because it reminded me of me and Trey, like as kids doing the claw game. Like no, a little back more. And, like where he would stand on one side and I would on the other. And like, no, you almost have it. Okay, drop now. It's
Yes,
just like it was
exactly.
too much like a video game, and I was like, why did this need to be a thing? But I don't know, it's cute.
how else would you get all that stuff? Anyways, so they get pinned
Press a
down.
button.
Like the Imperials come and they kill Kay. They're very sad.
It was very
sad.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we said
Okay,
it's
is a
spoiler.
reprogrammed Imperial
bot.
droid.
Yeah. So he blends in.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's so funny to watch him answer things.
So
Like,
much sass.
He, like, and they'll be like, he was walking around with Cassian and Jin somewhere, and one of the stormtroopers goes up and is like, "Where are you taking these prisoners?" And he goes, "Yes, these are prisoners. I am taking them to prison."
At first he goes like, "These are prisoners?" And then the guy, like, he says it as like a question, and the guy's like, "Yes, where are you taking them?" And he's like, yes, these are prisoners, and they're going to the prison.
He's like, "If you could just point me in the right direction, I would be."
brought them this far, I got it.
Yeah.
Basically, Kay can't lie for shit.
And then Cassian's trying to help him, and he goes, "Shut up, prisoner!" And then later he's like, "I'm so sorry about the slap." It's just like, I think it's so funny that he's just like reprogrammed, but then like he still is like no idea how to like be his old self.
Nope.
Oh god, he's so funny. Yeah, and it's really sad. You really gotta like him. So it's really sad when he sacrifices himself to like lock the doors and make sure Jin and Cassian are alone in the server room. And Jin fires through the glass, and she jumps from the operations room to the server, and she's like clinging onto
That
it
was
like rock
crazy.
timer. Yeah, and they climb up, and Cassian jumps in after her.
That
But
reminded me
then-
of Catch Me If You Can. You guys probably did not see that, but it's like
Yeah, I did.
Kirsten Stewart early days, and she climbs up a side of a vault to like steal a bunch of money, and like she's like jumping onto the bar. It really reminded me of that whole thing,
Any rock
even when
climbing thing.
yeah, no, and then like, but it was like on metallic stuff, and then when Cassian falls, like
Right.
Yeah. So Karen, Kinnerick, I don't remember his name.
Krennic,
Krennic.
Krunk,
Krennic.
Kaneki.
Captain Crunch.
Karen.
Krennic.
Okay.
Kieran.
So
Oh, man.
Krennic finds them, and they start like, so they're literally clinging to the side of this server and like firing at the people at the same time.
Because they come through some side
Some
way,
side door.
and you can just like open.
like
Yeah.
like a window.
It's like, there's another way entrance into this.
Yeah, it seems kind of
like
like
an
a
elevator
death trap.
shaft.
I don't know.
Yes, that was weird. The elevator.
Yeah, it just opens to nothing. And so, they're firing at each other, and Jin kind of gets around the backside of the server, and by this time she's got
Which was
thing.
a much better idea, and I don't know why he didn't just go ahead and do that
think he
too.
was trying to give her cover fire.
I guess so.
Yeah, so he kills the 2 stormtroopers that are with Krennic. Thank you.
It's like chronic, but with an E.
Krennic, okay. So he kills the 2 stormtroopers that are with Krennic, but then Krennic shoots him, and you see him fall like 20 feet onto this platform.
Yeah,
bang, bang, bang on beams and
hits some I-beams on the way down.
Right,
It looks painful, and it sounds painful.
Generally
Good
with
sound design.
broken ribs
Good
and spine and,
And like he falls, and I was like, bye.
Yeah,
But then
he's
when he caught him on the thing, I was like, well, that was convenient.
right?
It's nice that they have these little platforms that catch you if you fall.
Yeah,
So anyways,
especially because he was not on that side.
yeah. Well,
He
and
was not on the inside.
so Jin starts climbing up, and
Krennic.
Krennic.
It's gonna be the death of you.
Oh, fuck, I've already forgotten.
Krennic goes up to the top.
Yes,
Right.
so he runs around in an elevator to get on the other side of her.
And she climbs all the way up to the top,
Climbs all
and
the
there's
way up.
this opening and shutting.
Like from a video
yeah.
game. That was stupid. Like old style, like you have to jump through the blades of the fan, like something. It like literally opens and
And
shuts.
it wasn't even
for
an
no
issue.
reason.
She's like, cool, okay, 3, 2, okay,
One.
got
Yeah.
it.
But like straight
Not
up,
even an
like
issue.
straight up, like video game style. Why is this here other than as an obstacle? I have to use like my timing to get through. Anyways, she gets through
Time
that.
Killer also, when she gets up to the top, she plugs in
right.
Death Star, and they're
Oh,
like,
that was kinda
must
pointless.
read a line, which requires you going to another part unnecessarily of this. Like, okay,
I ups the tension, I guess. Like drags it out a little more.
I guess so, that she had to go out on
Yeah,
the
she had to
thing.
go out
While
on the
there's
limb.
like
And she's
things
exposed.
flying around.
Everyone's fighting. The TIE fighters are in. Everyone's firing at each other, and she has to run out into kind of the middle of that to get this thing
Right.
realigned. She does so. She's on her way back. The enemy TIE fighter boom, blows the arm off, and it's like hanging by like a couple of beams, and she's on the platform. And
Oh.
Krennic.
Oh.
Krennic shows up at the last minute and is like, haha, you are going to die because the shield keeping this entire planet enclosed is still up.
And she tries to call his bluff.
Yeah,
She's like, I've already told everyone. What are you gonna do about it? And he's like,
the shield.
no, you haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was such a bad lie. And I was like, oh, but for a second I was like, did she? Did she get away? She's so confident.
She lied pretty
bluffing.
well.
Yeah.
But he totally called it bluff. He was like, the shields are still up. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you definitely did get this message off. Anyways, everything's good to go except the shields are still up. In the meantime, the Alliance fleet, by the way, has shown up, and they're all trying to get down the shields, which is why they're all having this air battle at
There
the
were
same
a few
time.
like members of the Alliance that decided they were going to help the fight once they heard that there were people already attacking the base.
Yeah. Everybody jumped in, and so the fleet shows up, and they're all having a giant air battle. Partly an air battle on one side of the shield in space, and an air battle in the atmosphere on the other side of the shield. And so they get the shield down by they have like this battering ram spaceship that I thought was
so cool.
Such a good idea.
It is literally like they just ram it into
One
this
of the
giant fucking destroyer. It's like
one of the rebel planes takes the tip of like one of it was already damaged.
Right.
They like a bunch of rebel planes had damaged one of these
one of the smaller
destroyers, and then so he just like pushes it into the other one, and then they just like everything goes down into the shield mechanism, and it destroys it.
Kaboom!
Takes down the shield.
Yeah.
It was the only thing big enough to take down the shield, because
they've
they've been
destroyers
peppering
it
with. I mean, they'd been pounding it with all the firepower they had,
when is this gonna...
and it wasn't working.
The X-Wings, and didn't work.
Destroyer through the shield kind of took it down.
That works. So the shield goes down, and the signal goes out, and they're all like, yeah, we did it. And she gets saved from the bad guy by Cassian shows back up. He's okay, sort of. He probably has some severe internal bleeding, but he climbed up after her, and he shoots Krennic in the back. God damn it. Okay. He shoots Krennic in the back. Krennic is down. And
they send the transmission up.
Yeah, the transmission goes, it gets to the fleet. Yay, the Alliance has everything. And, a lot of the people have died. Jiro dies tragically.
Oh,
it's
so
horrible.
Right.
Something with the master switch.
So
I
in order
did
to
not
get
quite understand
comms up with Alliance fleet.
Yeah, in order to communicate.
So in order for the ship, their ship that they came in on,
their little defector ship.
Right, their little defector ship to get comms with Alliance fleet who was there, they needed to flip on, they needed to plug into the comm system, and then flip the master switch so that they could get in touch with the Alliance fleet.
Yeah.
And Jiro was the one who ended up going out to do that.
Because everyone else who tried was getting shot down.
Yeah, they all got killed, boom.
So he chanted his little mantra while walking out there,
And Baze is freaking out, and
it's
like, no, come back, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, we said spoilers. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
So you see Jin and Cassian limping off down the tower on their way out, and then you see the Death Star come in out of hyperdrive.
Yeah, there's also a plot that we've kind of missed, but the guy who's, I don't know if he was the commissioner for the Death Star, but there was a kind of a power struggle between in the Imperial.
He's in the actual. So he is a character from the original series. The one who pisses off Vader a lot. And Vader is actually in this briefly. I think it's voiced by James Earl Jones, isn't it?
That's what it said in the credits.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Maybe
so
they took clips of him because it was
No, they had an actor. But they had I guess James Earl Jones is still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, but I can't imagine his voice sounds that young.
No, his voice did sound older.
Oh,
it did.
okay.
I definitely could tell a difference. But he did a good job trying to make it sound more like his old Darth Vader voice. But oh my God, James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader again.
It was
amazing.
It sent chills. I got goosebumps.
Oh, it was great. So part of why I fucking love this movie. I just really enjoyed it. He the commander of the fleet, the Imperial fleet, is like, okay, well, screw this, I'm gonna blow up the entire base down there to try and stop this signal from going out.
But there was a power struggle between the commander and Krennic, and I don't know what
early on,
Yeah, but I don't really know. And then when he was like, get me Krennic, and they're like, Krennic's on that island, and he was like, blow it up.
Yeah. He doesn't they don't like each other.
Basically he had
there's a lot of
Krennic test the Death Star to make sure it worked.
And that's when they blew up the first city.
Right, when they blew up the city on the moon.
Yeah.
And once he figured out that it worked and he was like, oh, this is actually really good, then he wanted to take over the project.
Yeah.
And he said...
wanted to take credit for it.
Right, exactly.
Sneaky bastard.
Right.
And Krennic was not having any of that and went to go see Darth Vader about this.
Yeah.
Which was a really ballsy move.
Yeah, that's trying to go over your boss's head, except your boss's boss is one scary motherfucker.
Yeah. And they didn't know what he was going up against.
Yeah. And then at the end when he's walking away and Darth Vader's walking away and he's like, so you'll say it was all me? And
to the Emperor?
Fuck you. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts to... And he was like, don't choke on your ambition.
Yeah.
I was like, Darth Vader needs little sunglasses that come down.
Yeah.
So...
Or a CSI,
exactly,
yeah.
So Krennic and the commander have this animosity. Commander
Power
brings
battle
the
going
Death
on.
Starter into orbit, and he blows up the base. And he kind of misses, but he's close enough that you see the giant fucking mushroom cloud coming at them. So Cassian and Jin are limping out onto the beach, and they've got
they're
around
so
each other,
happy.
and they're so happy that they finally succeeded, and they helped the cause, and they got their mission done, and they watch the cloud come toward them, and they hold each other's hand, and then they turn and they hug, and this blinding flash of white from the explosion and consumes them, and everybody's dead, and the entire thing, everyone who went died, everybody.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was the perfect way to end it. That was great. And then they cut back onto the Alliance fleet, and they're like, we need to get these plans out. And they're like,
They copy it
they
onto
copy it onto
like
a floppy drive. Okay,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Like keeping true to the old.
Like, yeah,
stuff.
it really. There are a couple things like
It's
when
because it's set
it's like,
earlier
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
So they copy it on a floppy drive, and you see it changing hands in the Alliance, and Darth Vader's fucking there, and he's chasing them down, and he's killing people left and right. It's fucking
Chasing them,
badass.
he's more so just like fuck him.
Yeah. Fuck
Boom,
him.
dead. Their guns go flying.
Guns come out of their hands. Anyway, so they're passing it down until you see somebody run into this little space shuttle that's part of the Alliance ship that's about ready to detach, and they go,
The door
Princess.
doesn't open.
Like, it opens,
Oh,
you see this
Your
white robed
Highness,
finger,
yeah.
and they go like, Your Highness, and then they hand it to her, and turns around, and you see Princess Leia, which I don't know if they used a body double and they just did really good CG, or if they actually got Carrie Fisher to stand in it, and then they just CG'd her to look younger, but looks great. Like, and she turns around, and she's like, oh, great. And, like, they take it, and you see the ship detach and go, and it's that super white interior that is it is the exact ship from the beginning of A New Hope.
And she even says they're like, what is it? And she's like, it's
hope.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hope. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the second they had that white interior, I don't know if you guys noticed, you were sitting with on either side.
Yeah.
Of me. I was kind of freaking out, but that's because I was like, that's the ship from the beginning of the
You
original
were freaking out at a couple of moments that I was just like, and I didn't quite make any connection. I know Dad was loving some of these lines over there.
Yeah,
And
there's some good. The humor is on.
Oh, yeah.
The humor is on.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not a continuing. Obviously, everybody dies. It's not a comedy, but they
Yeah.
do work their humorous moments in quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved it.
And yeah, and
I
like
really
Darth
did.
Vader's watching the shuttle go off.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, he's going after him.
and all the Alliance people that were in the flagship all died too.
Yeah, a lot of them do. But yeah, you see them like, so the plans are with Leia, and she's taking them back to the Alliance, or she's gonna put them on R2, and R2's gonna go to Tatooine.
Right, exactly. Mhm.
Right.
So, I love this film. I loved it so much. It's got problems, obviously. We've talked about a few of them, but like,
Yeah, I mean, I think if you
freaking
know
loved it.
the original series better, it probably
they
has more.
It's so
I
in
don't-
tune with the original spirit of those first three films that it really hit every nerd nostalgia bone in my body.
Nice.
Yeah,
And,
there were so many little kids
loved
there, and I was like, have you even been on this planet long enough to watch all of the movies?
Right?
There was, I think there was kids who was behind me talking a bunch, and I was just like, this isn't the same for you.
Darth Vader was sitting behind me because that guy breathed heavily for the entire film.
Oh,
Darth Vader was sitting behind me.
He was like, guy.
Oh man, he's probably doing it for effect.
I guess.
But
He kept it up.
Oh my gosh.
if it actually was Darth Vader and he's watching this, you're
Kind of
I don't
trouble.
know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know about that.
Good luck with that.
But I know Tina had mixed feelings about it because she wanted Cassian and Jin to
I
be
wanted
Rey's parents.
Well, yeah, that would have been really cool
Yeah.
and a good connection to the ongoing series. Like, gives more people a reason to, why this one, why now?
Right.
And I would have really liked some sort of insight as to what's gonna happen next in the series. Because you don't want to.
This is a prequel. This is not tying back into the most recent film.
Right, but
Yeah.
still, that doesn't
Force
mean you just
Awakens.
run your wheels. I would have liked something that,
Okay, fair enough. You'd want it to tie in, but there will be
or
another
just give you
continuation later.
something that's like cool. Like we knew that, but we knew how that ended. But now we have nothing to go on towards looking forward to the.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I
It makes
felt
you
like it
excited to watch the three original films.
Yeah, it does
But,
that.
yeah.
I would say it doesn't. With moving forward, why did Disney do this? Because, why wouldn't they want to, build suspense for the next one?
Well, I think they will, but this one they could work on at the same time they were working on the other one, and just push it for a later
Just
release date.
put out content?
Yeah, so they have a film coming out every year. I actually, we'll do this final thoughts kind of thing, but I actually love the anthology thing. I love that they're doing different stories from different points in time. that might have been like a throwaway one-liner in like the original films. I love that idea that you get to see the story behind it, and it's really like, particularly when it's well done and self-contained like this one was. And this one really was. You get in touch with all the characters so quickly. You identify with them.
You find out more about the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, you find out more about the universe. You get those little bits of detail. But on its own, even just as a rebel group goes on suicide mission against overwhelming force and like succeeds, but like their noble sacrifices, and the unfortunate result. I think it's great. You really connect with the characters. I really felt like it broadened and deepened the universe. It's a near perfect film for me. I just really loved it.
And there's potential for them to take elements of this one and then tie it in with the next one that might be the follow-up to Rey's story.
Yeah, Rey's story I think will be next year.
The things that I think could, if Urso.
Yeah, Urso.
If
Galen
Erso, if he had, since he obviously was able to break away long enough to record this whole video, the hologram.
Yeah, his hologram message.
Like, if he's able to break away and have that time to make this hologram message, and he's, like, his last words were, "I have so much to tell you," maybe he has this, like, archive of holograms that, they could discover.
I'm for anything that involves more Mads Mikkelsen in my movies.
I mean, like, that's the only thing that I could see it was kind of left untied. Like, he died, but maybe his stories didn't.
Yeah.
Right,
Or even
that would be really cool,
Yeah, you could even go back and do a prequel with him and his wife running around or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, if they, in the sort of, like, sequel to Rey's story, have the mission be go back and find...
They find
Urso's
recordings from,
or
like, 30 years prior. Yeah,
that might be cool.
That would be very cool.
I mean, these are all just speculations.
Yeah.
But,
what are your final thoughts?
I would say overall, I really enjoyed it. It was it was fun. It had really good characters that explained a lot of things in the previous stories, and I feel like I kind of agree where I don't personally need to have the stories all line up exactly as they're told, as long as they kind of, you can figure out where they fit in the universe. It's a little Doctor Who, I think.
Yeah.
In the way that you can try and figure out where the story is supposed to go chronologically.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, I think if they were to take elements of this and tie it into the next one, along with the most recent one with Rey's story, I feel like that would sort of make it even better. It would make it ideal, right?
Yeah.
But
I just kind of don't like that feeling, like if you get to the end of a story and no characters have changed or something like that, it kind of feels like you just, like, run your wheels for a little bit and, like, yeah, that was fun, but, like, we've gone nowhere. And as was it our film teacher in Oxford who was saying, like, having the prequels was kind of like if they had just named Star Wars The Adventures of Luke and his father Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like, you don't go into a movie like having a movie that you just, like, what the ending is. It's if you're not bringing any sort of new information in. I mean, like, yeah, like we knew the plot line before it happened. Like, we knew this is how they got the Death Star and a lot of people died.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like it could have brought some more information in that would have, other than just, like, cool, here are some side characters that maybe you'd want to know about too. Like, because that was fine, but, like, it's not advancing the storyline, I think, in terms of this great story of Star Wars.
Well, thanks for joining us, and subscribe and like the channel. We'll see you later.
Bye! Bye!